Consider this your official welcome to the Tifosi. Hi,
Hey,
we've
thank
been waiting for
you.
you. Welcome back to Push Push. I'm Danielle Davis,
I'm Shannon Kessler.
and we are your girlfriend's guide to Formula One racing. It's been a while. It's been a long time. We shouldn't have left you.
We should we gotta beat step two.
It's been a long time.
It has, but you know what? We are awakening from the
Slumber.
F1 winter hibernation. We're back. The spring birds are out chirping. The cars are going vroom vroom around the tracks. You know, there's possible rain in Melbourne. Who knows what we're gonna get? But you know what we are getting? We're getting a race, Danielle. It's been too long.
It has been too long. It's been too long. We're going back to Australia, our first Australia without Daniel Ricciardo.
Yeah.
I didn't even plan that. I didn't even plan that. It's
Even
come
a
so
full
natural.
minute into the pod, and she's already slamming Danny Rick. Like, we were at 56 seconds, friends. We had almost made it a full minute.
Yeah, we're back. And, you know, I most of our listeners probably do not watch the pod, but if you could see Shannon right now, she's in red and black. And dare I say, it looks nice on you.
Thank you. Thank you. I do
Welcome.
appreciate the coming into a colorway that works, you know, with my seasonal colors. So I do appreciate that. Thank you, Lewis, for, you know, jumping ship and going to Ferrari. Because I do, you know, I like red. Red and I are good friends. And now I have a true Ferrari hat, and I'm ready.
Well, welcome.
Ready.
Consider
Get it?
this your oh gosh. Consider this your official welcome to the Tifosi. Hi.
Hey,
We've
thank
been waiting for
you.
you.
Really, I'm honestly, I fought it for a long time, but now I'm embracing it full steam ahead. And
Everyone does. Everyone fights it, and everyone's really a Ferrari fan deep
yeah,
inside.
deep down inside, even my king was like, actually, I've dreamed of this day my whole life. And I'm like, well, you've never shared that dream with anybody else, but thanks. I'm glad you can live out your dream, Lewis. This is great.
Yeah, I
this for you.
mean, Enzo said it, and we all you can fight the feeling as long as you want. I mean, I never did, but
You leaned right in from the
But
jump.
yeah, welcome. Welcome to Tifosi. We've been waiting for you. It's lovely over here. There's a lot of disappointment, a lot of expectations, but you know, a lot of history, a lot of tradition, and a lot of great vibes. The vibes are good. They're
The
sometimes
vibes are
bad.
good.
The
Yeah.
vibes are sometimes bad, but generally good.
The vibes are bad when the strategy is bad, and the vibes are high when the strategy is good. So, like, I've been watching from afar for years, and I think I know how to approach being in the Tifosi. You just
Okay,
gotta,
well, you
like,
think that you know, but
right.
you don't know until you have no idea. Welcome to the real world. Yeah, so just stay tuned for
Okay.
what's in store for you.
You're right.
Speaking
Like,
of
mhm.
like those expectations, it's big this weekend.
It's so big. Oh my God. I don't know what I'm more like excited for, because there's so much. One, we're getting a race. Okay, great. We're back. We're excited.
Yeah, yeah,
Lewis
yeah.
is in a Ferrari. That's exciting. There's 6 rookies. That's exciting, but also
Which is insane.
terrifying. But also, there's rain in the forecast, and you know how my anxiety just like goes through the roof. So I'm like, we've got 6 rookies and possible rain on their F1 debut. What could possibly go wrong? You know,
What
like
could possibly go wrong?
Jeez, so Pete's.
Also, just on the first race coming out hot to deal with range, just the whole how that throws a wrench into strategy and planning is on the first race is a real
Yeah.
it's a
'Cause there
real
is
conundrum.
something to be said. Like, you can't, I mean, you can sim in rain all you want, but
Oh, but
like,
it's different.
you can't get a gauge of how to drive these cars firsthand without being in the rain. So, like, these veteran drivers are going to be like, oh, kiddies, get your, rain boots on. It's going to be
Yeah.
wet out here.
And the youths are, coming as they do on TikTok and everywhere else. The youths are coming for, the elder millennials of the track,
Yeah.
Fernando and Lewis, the new kids. They got jokes.
Oh, they got lots of jokes.
They got
Lots
jokes, but they
jokes
might
on
not have so
jokes.
many jokes when the rain hits and they are having to, deal with the consequences of the rain. And the old guys are just like, what? We've been here
Mhm.
before.
Yeah, it's like that's cute. It's cute you guys are wearing your ponchos, but just wait, just wait.
Although who knows? These young guys may just, do a spin out and just go straight,
Who
like me in an intersection in college
right?
in the, in the ice. Just spin out in the circle and just keep going. There is the benefit of blind youthful optimism. And I love that we're getting a lot of that on the grid this year.
A lot, a lot. And I'll be honest. There's some rookies that we've seen them. Their faces have been around. Like
Yeah.
Kimmy's already iconic. Ollie's already made a name for himself. Jack kind of is one of those kids that you're like Isaac. I didn't know who the fuck Isaac was. I'm not gonna lie to you.
Never met him.
Still don't know the guy's name that's at Kick Sauber. Who's that at stake? Who's that? Who's that kid? I don't even know.
Oh, I don't know.
Don't
I don't super care.
also same. Like you got rid of Valtteri and
Yeah, I can't
Joe,
make time for someone new when you got rid of
the
my
king.
king.
I mean, he's out here still giving us amazing content because that's just what he does. But he's not even on the grid, and you're
Gabriel Bortoleto.
I'm glad you said that and not me. Thank you.
We don't know him.
No, don't know him. Don't know him. I'm sure he's great. I'm sure he's comes with a resume that's impressive for F2, I guess. I don't know.
He's not
But,
Valtteri.
I'm going to need their social team to get on it because we don't know this kid and the race is going to be here in like 15 minutes. So like what did you do on the off season? You didn't introduce us to your bro. Like
Yeah, I don't think they did a good enough, a strong enough job of really bringing them to the forefront. Now, granted, the off season was really, from a media standpoint, was really overshadowed by the only story that I feel like anyone talked about all off season was Lewis to Ferrari, Lewis to Ferrari, Lewis to Ferrari, Lewis to
That's true.
Ferrari. It was like 99% of the stories were Lewis to Ferrari, and then and then none
Everybody
for
else.
Gretchen Wieners.
Yeah.
It was just hard to cut through some of the off-season noise of, not noise, like I don't mean noise in a negative way. I just mean the constant like chatter around Lewis too.
Yeah. No, I agree with you on that. I definitely see how that. I mean, how could you not? Like,
Yeah, of course.
There's
There's no like
have to.
no harm, no foul. Like if we're gonna write a story, I want to write a story about the like world champion heading to an iconic brand, not necessarily like this new guy that we don't really know that much about. So it makes sense. It's just, we just have not, it has not been readily available unless you've gone digging for the information.
True. I did see a really cute little interview where this woman was interviewing like all the newbies, but she was like, boys, look up here. But look, pay attention.
Oh, I saw that too. I felt like I was in the car with my 8th grader and his friends.
Exactly. I'm like, this is funny. But also, it kind of is giving me like, we weren't in the sport when Charles and Alex and George and Max and Lando were all together, being buddies, like when they first were
on the scene.
On the scene. So we are getting like that next.
It's the next
boy
wave.
bands. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Like we're seeing that in real time, which is kind of fun. So I'm just curious, like, if you were here before, is that how you felt about those guys? Like when they first dropped? Yeah. So.
The other big news, it's Ferrari adjacent.
Oh, okay.
Well, I mean, Sainz to Williams.
Sainz to Williams, yes.
And I'm very optimistic for Carlos and the Williams. I know that this is not the year for the optimism. This is a continuous rebuilding, and this is just the next, brick to be laid on that foundation that Williams and James Vowles are building there. But I do think that maybe this is going to take some of the really heavy pressure off of Carlos. Not that Carlos couldn't thrive under the pressure, because we all saw him win races and he was great, and no hate, no shade to Carlos now that he's,
Oh,
bye.
Nice. Did you hear that?
No, I love Carlos, and he's always been my number 2. But I think that this might bring new life to him as well, like without some of the guardrails on also Ferrari, like kind of, not like he had many last year, but just like I feel like we're going to get a new Carlos, like a next wave of Carlos.
Yes. I'm gonna have to say something here
Oh,
because Carlos. I love Carlos so much. I don't think, and I say this with love, blue is Carlos's color.
oh, it's not.
It's
Mm-mm.
not. It
Mm-mm.
is. It's making me sad. Like I didn't realize how much like vibrance
Fire.
the red, yeah, the fiery, the spicy pepper that like the red gave him, and I was like,
Yeah.
wow, okay. Until he put on like a very conservative British blue, and I was like, no,
It's not doing
it's
anything for
not.
skin tone.
It's
It's not
not.
its
It's
color.
not my
You're always
favorite.
coming back to the colors, but
Oh, right. It's not in his palette for sure. And I'm like, I don't love it. I don't love it. I don't think he feels it. Because, like, at least with the red, even if you had like a red pullover and it was kind of sporty, it still looked put together for him. He puts on like that blue, sad Williams
it's giving
jumper, and
working.
it's like,
It's giving working in the corner auto shop vibes. Not in the
exactly.
sexy way that the
Not
Ferrari
in the
ones may
sexy
have. Yeah.
way. Yeah.
Mhm.
It's going to take me a minute. Now, the hair is still playing its part, which is a beautiful thing, and I appreciate Carlos for, still giving us what we want. But the colorway is not it for me. However,
Yeah.
I will say two things. I'm very excited for Carlos to have Alex as a teammate because I love
Oh,
Alex so much.
you do love Alex.
I do love Alex. He's a
Do you
king.
think that it ushers in a pet era for Carlos? Because Alex is, up on
Mm,
pets.
he does
Does
love a good
does he
beast.
get Carlos to adopt a cat?
Well, Carlos has a dog.
He does?
Yeah. You remember?
Oh.
It's like cute. I think it's like an English setter, maybe, or a pointer. I
He
don't
doesn't
know.
give it enough social media love for me to have had it register.
Oh, how do you not remember the shirtless photo of him at the lake with the dog? You remember that
I
one?
just figured it was like some
No,
anonymous
someone
dog,
else's
not
dog. I'm
his.
pretty sure it's
Yeah.
his family dog. But I would love to see more pet footage in the
How do you
Williams.
think their relationship is going to go on the track?
I think that Alex is going to have a lot to learn from Carlos, and I think Alex is open to learning from Carlos. But I think if you have to pick a number one driver over there,
It's
um,
Carlos.
it
Don't you dare
has to
say
be
anything.
Carlos for
Yeah.
sure. But I do think that Alex is going to have a lot of like he doesn't have to teach this year. Do you know what I'm saying? Like the
Yeah.
past couple of years, he's had to be the big
He's
brother
had to
and
be
like
the, yeah.
show the ropes, and he doesn't have to do that. So I think this is going to be like a
Well, maybe
sweet
it's good for
somebody
both
that's.
of them.
I think it's going to be great for both. I really do. I think it'll be
Okay.
fun. I'm looking forward to it. I mean, Carlos himself is like, listen, I ain't getting on a podium this year. Like, I love
Yeah.
that y'all think I might, but I'm not. So, like, manage the expectations. And I also love an honest king. Like, thanks for letting us know what we need to
Yeah.
know. I did, however, just see before we popped on, James Val's in an interview, and the guy was like, "Who won Love Island this year, James?" And James was like, "U.S. or U.K." And I was like, "Okay." James knew the answer. He was like, "Bing bang." I don't watch the show, but I felt it was, you love a reality TV show.
I don't watch Love Island,
I
but
do
I
not.
love, it's not, I mean,
Yeah.
I have nothing against Love Island. I've heard it's quite amazing. It just hasn't, I haven't been able to dedicate the time to it. But
Yeah.
if James wants to call me and talk about traders,
You do love that show.
I live, laugh, and love for traders. Like, so, and if anybody that listens to the pod wants to talk traders with me, please. I would love to get someone F1 adjacent. I wonder if I haven't watched the Traders UK edition, but I wonder if there's been any F1 adjacent people on the UK edition. But getting someone from F1 on Traders would be incredible. And I think they do quite well.
I don't know enough about the show to know
I don't think
what
the audience wants me to
okay,
explain it to
right.
you, but I'll be more than happy to explain it to you offline
Okay.
because it's truly a gift. And if you've even considered a reality show in the past, and even if you haven't, this is the show for you. It's true perfection.
Oh,
And also,
great.
Alan Cumming is on it, and he's so great. And I feel like we need to get Alan Cumming. That's a great crossover. If we could get Alan Cumming in his trader's Scottish persona, like Scottish landowner persona that he does on Traders to do
The
some sort
the
of bit
grid.
on the grid, it would be incredible. I don't know what it is right now. Maybe they do some sort of like Traders roundtable situation with all the drivers and Alan's there. I have
Mm.
no idea, but F1 Liberty Media take this and run with it. I'm sure someone else has pitched it,
But if not, hey, this is
but if
it.
not, make it happen
I
because
love it.
this is the crossover we need.
Well, speaking of crossovers we needed, the Stanley Tucci Carlos Sainz at the dinner table crossover was I wasn't prepared for, but my heart about jumped out of my body and was like, oh my God, what am I watching right now? This is absolutely everything I ever needed. And that was on like a Tuesday. And
And
then
then so
yesterday,
many crossovers.
the crossover of my life and dreams when Lewis
That
Hamilton
video is incredible.
so beautifully crafted the scene from Ferris Bueller's Day Off where he gets in the Ferrari as the
Mechanic, like the
mechanic, yeah,
or
the
like
guy that's
the
supposed to take care of the car.
auto attendant or whatever.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh my God. That I died and I came back to life and I was like, this is everything. I just love it. I love it so much. And nothing made me happier than to find out that Lewis was and is a Ferris Bueller's Day Off fan, because that is truly my favorite movie of all time. And I could not be happier that he did that.
Also, I mean, I knew that Lewis was involved. I know that Lewis owns everything and does everything and is, the man of the Renaissance man of our time. But I did not realize, and I knew he had done like stuff with movies and things like that. I didn't know he owned his own production company. I did not know he had his own like independent production
Did not
company.
know that either.
Until this video collab. And I don't know if that's new or if he's just been working in silence as the king he is, but discovering new things about
what
about
I
him
love
all the time.
so much. I love when rich people don't tell us what they do with their money.
No.
I love it. That's my favorite thing.
Yeah.
I love it.
But I also sometimes like to see it too.
Yeah, sometimes it's nice to know, but like it's not like I like
to know
so much charitable donation and like what I'm like.
Yeah,
I'm glad that you did, and
Work
I'm glad
in
you're
silence.
doing good. But like, could you just do it? You don't have to tell people you did it.
We support a humble king.
Yes, we
But
do.
I also do love to watch those table scenes in Mallorca with Carlos Sainz. I like, quiet luxury. Just let me sit in that for a second.
Yes.
Because I'm pretty sure that's what heaven looks like when I die. Just sitting at that table, that oceanfront
Beautiful
table.
wood table.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. With like fresh,
Just,
seafood, pasta just coming your way, and a nice
antipasti,
rustic
piece
of bread and a crisp white wine and a beautiful thin glass. Like, yes, to all of it.
I don't think cousin Carlos is at mine, but
oh my gosh.
But he is in the new Drive to Survive, and he is back in a big way.
He is back in a big way, and he's also not wearing a bro vest. I was like, where's the puffer vest? What is happening? But maybe it was
summer when he was doing these interviews. Maybe it was
could be. This might just be the perfect segue for us to give some thoughts on DTS, because I know I haven't finished it. I'll be honest. I just last night watched the Singapore episode, and
I haven't finished it. I'm 3 episodes in.
Okay, so you're still in the beginning. But just a couple things right out of the gate. I know people have hated on this season, and honestly, I think it's great. I love it. I
do think this is better than last season.
Yes, so much better than last season. Couple things I could do without. I never ever need to see Zach Brown's feet.
Never.
Never.
Crimes against humanity. Box
Never
to box.
needed to see that. I was like,
put those dogs away. Get your grippers out of here.
Right. Grippers at the pool. Get them out. Like, just let the man soak, and we don't need to see it. I don't know why it panned in for more than even a half a second, but I'm like, get it off. I don't want to see it ever. Ever.
No Zach Brown grip. Nobody's grippers. No. I don't need to see anybody's toes.
When you haven't gotten here yet, but you're gonna see George Russell in a flip flop.
Oh no!
Sitting down for his interview, and he said this better not make it, and then he's like, "This is gonna make it," and I'm like, "Yeah, it did, George. What were you thinking?
How did his PR team allow that? That's such bad image control."
I was like,
in a thong.
Yes, rubber thongs. And they're not even cute ones. They're like red and white. I don't know. They were atrocious. And I was like, put your fucking feet away. People, box to box, if you hear me once, please hear me twice. Stop with the feet, okay? Nobody paying to see these dogs. Nobody wants
And if they are, let them keep those behind a paid platform. Put them behind a paywall for the people who need them. No toes.
Stop. Full stop. I don't want it anymore. I don't want any more feet.
Yeah, that's a crime against humanity.
Yeah, so it was too much. I couldn't do it. I was like, this is too much. There was a lot of...
I think there's a lot more timeline hopping, though, in this season, and this is my grip with the Full Swing, which I do feel like they've changed some of the way they edit that to be less, like, crisscrossy
Yes.
competitions, tournaments. I feel like there was, I've only watched 3 episodes. I'm not going to give a roundabout review. I
Yeah.
do not like when it doesn't go in chronological order. And that's, I think, one of the reasons I like Drive to Survive so much at the beginning because,
Hmm.
and I understand there's going to be some jumps,
Yeah.
but I don't love and I don't think they're doing it extensively, but I do think there's a little bit of timeline hopping and I don't love that.
Yeah, and that's kind of where it's annoying because when you timeline hop, you are making it fit a narrative that you are trying to
Hmm.
broadcast. And like that's the part where it's like, okay, yes, but that's not how it happened. So
Yeah.
you're like, I don't know, because they had a lot in the beginning, and we're up to a point where you've seen this, where like the Lando Max of it all,
Yes, is a little corny.
it is, and I texted you this on the side. I was like, I am having a little bit of a softer spot now for Lando after seeing this episode, like this season.
Well, he has been on a likability campaign for the last year, and so he put in
Yes.
his work on the episode as well. I mean,
Yeah.
I find him to be exceptionally more likable throughout the course of last season. So I'm not surprised that that's made its way into the show as well.
Yes.
It feels like also from a PR person standpoint, a bit of a concerted effort to do so, but I mean, but it's working. So
Hats off. I mean, everyone's doing their job and doing it
yeah,
beautifully. Numbers are great. I just found, again, Max being Max is just, we've all accepted that that's just how he is. I
yes,
don't love and we saw this in real time last year. Like, we didn't love how the relationship played out in public eye either, how Max would get pissed
yeah.
at Lando and Lando was like, if you can't take it, don't give it, kind of thing. So like that kind of stuff I can see, but I do think that I felt like they were like doubling down on Max a little bit more so than they needed to. I was
I
like,
also got a little bored of it.
yes. I was like,
Those 2 episodes are so much of that, and
yeah,
yes, it was a large storyline in last season, but I think that they were overdoing it and leaving out
yeah.
some other things that were more interesting. But can I tell you my favorite part that I've watched up until this point, and honestly the rest of the season could be a flop, but for allowing me to see this, was Chef's Kiss. You know how when you win at Miami, it's a real roundabout that you got to go to get to
Hmm.
the podium. And remember last season we saw this in real time, or 2 seasons ago we saw this in real time as well as on the show. Christian and them getting that ride all the way to the podium, and they're like, oh, this is the cart that's going to take us and all that stuff,
Yeah.
and it was a whole thing with Gene. Okay, the moment where Christian does not have like a ride to the podium scene, where he's standing there and he's like, oh, okay, so we just have to walk. And he's looking around, and the Red Bull you know
Yeah.
one of the team members who probably works in some sort of like communication standpoint is like, no, we have to go. We have to walk, and we have to go this way. And she's like, do you want me to take you? Truly, thank you for that clip,
Yes.
because that was the come to I needed for Christian Horner, of just him looking around being like, there's no one to drive me type
Yes.
thing. I needed that.
Yes.
It soothed a little corner of my soul. Now I hated it for my girl Jerry, because Ginger Spice till I die, but
Can we talk about, because this is with the episodes that we were getting all of the things that we saw at the beginning of last season, the Christian Horner WhatsApp messages and all of the, stuff that went with
the
that.
scandal.
Scandal, yes. And he was so smug throughout this whole process because he's like, I can't say anything. And it's like, oh, you motherfucker. But the what made me so angry was like Jerry had to put on that face of the grip of death, in which he is like dragging her around the paddock. And I was like, He wants to murder you right now. And she's being such a queen by standing by your side, but also, but I would love to know what was said behind closed doors. Like, don't you ever grip me? Like, don't you ever pull my hand like that again?
The grip he had on her hand it hurt my hand, and I could feel it. I could feel the grip on her hand, he was holding her and like kind of pulling her
against her
along.
will.
Mm-hmm.
That's how it felt. It was very much a against your will scenario, and I'm like, I hate every minute of this. I hate it.
Yeah. Honestly, the fact that they've waited, I've watched 3 full episodes and haven't really gotten much Red. It's really been disheartening. Much Red, Haas.
Oh,
really, I've had no Valtteri. I've had no Charles. I've had not a lot Carlos. Some Carlos. We've had some solid Carlos.
Okay.
But
let me
no,
just.
Pierre. Give me Pierre. Pierre is a king on Drive to Survive. I
It's
feel like they're leaving some of the stars of the show on the bench too long.
it's
Crossing
coming.
references there. They're
It's
backstage.
it's coming, and there's a Monaco episode that we won't
I know
talk
they're
about
saving
because
it. I know there's yeah.
you need to. I have full notes on the Monaco episode. I also have full notes on the Singapore episode because that's my favorite track, and uh, I learned, and I didn't realize this, that Singapore is almost like a home race for Alex because he's from Thailand, and Thailand
Yeah.
is only a 2 hour and 10 minute
Oh,
plane
so
ride
close.
to Singapore. And I was like, I did not know that. So that just makes Singapore even more special in my heart because I'm gonna have to go see my king at his home race. But when you get to the Monaco episode,
Shout out to our friends that are in Singapore right now.
yes,
Briggle and Colton.
yep,
Yeah.
our girls and Colton.
Yeah.
Briggle and Golden. Yeah, it's both are great, and I would really like for you to watch them so we can talk about it because you're gonna come back with like a full heart.
Oh, I mean, I
Yeah,
know. I already knew as I was watching. I was like, they're saving all of my love
yeah,
for Monaco, but it still left me. I still am yearning for more. So
yeah.
I'm ready to explore those episodes more
Gotcha.
fully.
More fully.
But yeah, I think that this show. I feel like it's returned to like I feel like it's much better than last year's.
Yes.
Now I don't know if
It,
that's a group consensus, but
yeah.
I also get why people who watch the season or who are avid F1 fans do not like Drive to Survive because I like it significantly less now. It just feels like a rerun. Like I feel like we've talked about all the drama, we've talked about all the stuff. I do feel
Yeah.
like the level of content we consume, because we're not only consuming like the news and just the races, we're watching the social clips, we're watching the storylines, we're watching all that. And so I
Yes.
feel like this is a little bit of like watching a rerun.
It is very much so. And in the beginning, when we got into Drive to Survive, the social media accounts were not
No,
what they are
nowhere as
today.
complex. Yes,
Not
like
any close. So like we were even still then just getting glimpses, and it was still like the allure of not knowing was like, ooh, this is
right.
now we know everything. Now we know what people's toenails look like. Like it's things that we don't ever need to
No, we didn't
know.
need to
We
know.
know, thanks to this show and the social component of it. I mean, it is, and again, like knowing how the season ends and how things work out, you're like, oh, okay, but it is kind of cool to see what they go through in that time because even though
Yeah.
you see it in their social media, you don't have a like reflective view of it yet. So it was kind of cool to get some reflection on some of these highlights that we were like, oh, that's how you felt. Okay.
Yeah, and I do think the most interesting part of the show, which has always been the most interesting part of the show and is the heart of the show, is the drivers. So the interviews
Yes.
with the drivers are by far the best part of the show, and getting their thoughts and their reactions and their feelings and they're like a little bit more off the cuff or less produced than what's on their social media or what's on the team's
Yes.
social medias. I find that to be the most compelling part of the show. I just find a lot of the in between race recap stuff less interesting to me because I have consumed so much race content already that I'm like, okay, cool. Yeah.
Yeah.
That kind of stuff. And I wish that
Yes.
they would give us a little, like, I'm only, again, 3 episodes in, so I'm not, but I do like I think one of the reasons that we liked the early season so much is because we got so much back of the pack action. And so I'm excited to see more episodes that have, because obviously the mainstream media coverage of F1 does not cover the back of the pack as extensively. So getting to watch some of that will be interesting if there's more of that.
Yes, and I do think this year, and again, because I'm only halfway through, but like because that mid pack this year was so close by like a couple of points, but it was millions of dollars in differences. I think we are gonna get more of that this season. But the second most compelling part of this show for me is the fact that Fred only speaks French. Like,
oh yeah, but that's just like Matteo before him. I mean, Mattia before him.
Yeah.
He only spoke in Italian.
Yeah.
Yeah. They said, fuck you, translate it for us. Whatever. I like it too because I'm lightly pretty conversational in French. So it's like very soothing to listen to him speak in French.
Oh, it's great. It's beautiful. It's a beautiful thing. It's great.
Yeah, he's great. 10 out of 10.
10 out of 10.
I also don't need to hear like Christian. I think the reasons those 2 episodes have bored me so much too is because I already know that Zach and Christian hate each other with the fire of 1,000 infernos. I don't need you guys to keep talking about it. I already read the articles. I've already heard I've heard everything. Just stop. We get
Yeah.
it. We
And
get
I
it.
also am also tired of listening to Toto cry about Lewis. I'm
Oh,
like,
stop
okay,
crying.
stop
There was
crying.
a whole episode last season about you crying
I
about
know.
it.
He's moved
It's time
on.
to
You
move
should too.
on.
You
Yeah,
should
it's
move
time to
on.
move
He
on.
has. He has.
Yeah.
He even had little things to say today about I tried for 12 years to get Lewis in a suit. And that's day one of Ferrari, he's in a suit. I'm like,
Let it
let it
go.
go. He's happy. Just be happy for
Listen
him.
to Elsa. Just go watch Frozen and let it go.
He gave you 8 constructors championships and 7 driver titles. Like, he built your program. Let him go. Let him just be happy for him. Just
Yeah,
let
and
him go.
it's done. If now you're just sowing like you're not doing your current drivers any favors. Like go
No.
all in. Have you? It's like he's never been broken up with before.
Oh, he never has. Oh, which is weird because he has been divorced. So, but
Well,
I wonder
maybe
who
he was the,
initiated. Maybe he
I bet
initiated it.
he initiated the
Initiated it.
divorce.
Yeah,
It's
probably.
giving like ex-girlfriend that cannot get over it, or ex-boyfriend, because we've had those too. But
Mm-hmm.
just stop talking about it.
Just stop. Yeah.
It's also
Just
like
stop.
the scene in Mean Girls. I could hear
Yeah.
myself talking about it and people getting tired of it, and she couldn't stop. That's Toto. Someone needs to look at him and be like, you need to start recording voice notes anytime you feel this way or something.
Mm-hmm.
Stop saying it in front of other people.
Also, there gets to be a point where I think Toto is like a little bit over George being George, and there's some vindication in that for me too. I'm like, you don't really think you made a good decision, do you? Nope, no, you don't.
Well, it's time to
Okay.
sit in that.
Ah,
Okay,
speaking
let's look
of, okay,
ahead. Oh, go ahead. You go ahead.
yeah, I've got one more thing to say about George.
Oh, okay. I was going to wrap
Have
up our drive to survive after this.
Oh, okay, go ahead then, because if you
No,
want
no,
to
you
wrap up,
go ahead.
this wasn't on the show. This is
Oh,
actually segueing into something different. So if you want to wrap up DTS, go right
I
ahead.
just think that, we will do a full, maybe we'll do a full episode that's like separate from race recaps of just
Okay,
talking about Drive to Survive for the people. And once we both watch the whole thing, we can do like a little, maybe it's a
love it.
two-part series.
Oh, I love it.
But I think that there's a lot of compelling stuff about it, but I'm excited for the new, for the now,
Yes.
for
Well,
the
speaking of new and now, have you seen the new race promo, like the driver intros?
No, but I kind of like to watch it I kind of like to watch it like when I'm about to watch those
When you're about
practices
to watch
or
it.
yeah, and
Yeah.
like let it wash over me with
Yes.
the race feeling. Not
Okay. Well, then we will also revisit that when we recap Australia because I want you to see it how you want to consume it, and then I need to we need
I
to talk about it.
also can't wait to see Charles be back closer to the end of the thing. He had taken a little bit
Yeah.
of a tumble and now he'll be back.
And now he'd be back. Now he'd be back. It's a glorious
Um
thing. Yeah. There's something
okay,
else.
so I want to do some predictions for the season.
Ooh, yes. Okay.
I want to get like some thoughts and feelings about what's to come.
Okay.
It's a fresh start. It's spring.
Yeah.
We're going to Australia. We're going down under. So, I mean, from the jump, we all know that it's going to be kind of a weird year. We know Red Bull's going to be good. We know
Mhm.
McLaren's going to be good. We know Ferrari's up there, but like we will, I guess, really find out. I'm sure Mercedes is going to be better than last year. Well, they came on so strong at the end of the year, so like
Yes.
justice for them. So give us like your big three, and then who do you think will be your best of the rest?
Okay. I think the big 3 are going to be McLaren, Ferrari, and it's going to be a fight between Mercedes and Red Bull. I don't think we're going to see the dominance of Red Bull the way that we've seen it in past. I think will be Max and be doing Max things, but I don't think that Liam will be Checo.
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
Well, I mean,
which could be good or bad. Like he's not going to be prime Checo.
Yeah,
but
like
I don't
Checo
think
from 2 or 3 years ago, or Checo from
yeah.
last year, because I feel like he could be Checo from last year.
Yeah. So that's a little bit of I don't love that. But what makes me nervous for Mercedes is Kimi. And I
Yeah.
say that because he's so brand new. And even though like you put him in a car and he is somebody completely different, I do think that
There's going to be a level of
drivers
immaturity
yes, that comes through with that. But I think out of the newbies, he's got the best case scenario.
Well, that was good. That was going to be my
have,
next question.
you know,
Who do you think is going to be your best newbie?
I think he's given the best car. So it's like,
Yeah.
He has a lot more pressure, but he also has a lot more opportunity to make a bigger wave as a newbie because of a Mercedes. So there's that. I am really looking forward to watching Ollie Bierman at Haas, just kind of
Hopeful for Haas.
I'm here for it. I cannot wait. And honestly, I am here for Isaac, don't know his last name, but he's the cash cab driver with Yuki.
Cash cab. We're still doing
It'll never
that.
be V carb for me. I'm so sorry. It'll always be cash cab. I like him. He has some really funny personality. He's already put out some good content with Yuki, and I'm like, okay, honestly, didn't know who you were before, but now I'm locked in. I'm here for you. Like, I want to root for him, and I want him and Yuki to be good friends. And Yuki has really surprised me as, like, he kind of seems like he's settled down a little bit, but also in, like, a big brother way, which is weird because we always see him as, like, the little brother in most scenarios. But I feel like he's going to step up and be, like, the big brother to this Isaac kid.
Okay. I like
So
that.
that's kind of where I'm at.
So do you think Haas is best of the rest? Do you think V-Carb? Do you think Alpine? Do we think Aston Martin?
No, I have no hope for Aston Martin. I don't. Because Lance still hates being an F1 driver.
He does still hate it. But do you think
hates it.
Fernando gets on a podium this year?
Yes, I do think Fernando
I do
gets on a
too.
podium.
I do too. I think
see it
Fernando gets on a
happening.
podium. I do too.
I do too. And you know what? You know when it's going to happen? Because all 6 of those newbies are going to crash out. He's going to be like,
In I think it could be in Monaco.
could be. Could very well be. I'd love to see him on a podium. in
Because you
Monaco.
know
It'd be amazing.
Monaco can really take some people out. And if you're in a good position, which
Yeah.
Fernando usually is, good for a little zip zap.
Yep.
You know, some huge crash happens. I think it would be I think it might be a street race for Fernando when the Bebes kids have like a little bit of an issue.
A kerfluffle. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'd like to. Yes, I would love to see that. I don't. They're gonna be
I
fine.
think
but,
Alpine
like,
is going to be good this
I
year.
agree with you. I think Alpine figured out a lot of shit last year, and I
Mhm.
think Pierre coming in, and Jack seems like he ain't gonna be putting up with nobody's bullshit. And I
No, and he
appreciate
feels like a
that.
real solid, like,
yes
number
contender.
2.
Yes,
Yeah.
agreed. Knows his place. So yeah, I have a lot.
And you know that their
of
rich
hope.
owner is not fucking around.
They are not.
He
They
said,
ain't
I'm
playing
so sick of losing. Not losing, just not being as good.
We are.
It's time.
They're not driving to win. They're driving not to die. That's pretty much
Yeah.
how they've been
I think
driving.
Alpine's going to have a good year, though.
I do
pretty-
too. I do too. I think separating Ocon and Pierre is what they both needed.
They hated each other so
They
much.
hated each other, and I think that the cars knew that too, and they were like, "I'm not performing
No
for either one of
people
you."
disliked each other more, other than
Correct.
maybe Zach and Christian.
Same energy. It's the same picture.
Same energy, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Over under on how many races Lewis wins. 2.5 is the over under.
I'm taking the over. I
Okay.
think he's going to go over 2.5.
You think 3, 4? More?
I'm going to say I'm going 4.
Does he win more races than Charles Leclerc?
No.
Oh, I don't think so either. But
Yeah.
so that means you think Charles Leclerc might win 5 races?
I think this is going to be Charles' year. I do.
I hope
think
so.
he's
God.
as much as I want it to be Lewis's, so he could just go off and retire with that 8 championship and just like let him go. It's not this year, but I do think that there's going to be this is going to be a really remarkable year for Charles. I don't know that. I mean, I feel like this is Lando's year to lose.
Yeah, I do too. That's what I was just about to ask. Do you
So-
think does McLaren establish Lando as the number 1 this year?
You haven't seen this episode yet, but there is a come to Jesus moment with Zach when he's like, "We have 2 number 1 drivers," and the rest of the grid is like, "Oh, you can't have 2 number 1 drivers." The rest of the world also knows that you cannot.
Everyone
have
just went
2
hands to
number
head.
1s. It's like, are you joking right now? So I think knowing that Oscar just signed a multi-year contract with McLaren, I think that they're going to be like, listen, let's play out Lando's contract. Let's make him number 1. You're going to have to understand that all of our support is going to go with him. We want you to keep doing your job. Make it great for the constructors. We got a lot of investors we got to pay back money to. 1 and 2. I think if they don't
So you
have that
think Lando
conversation-
wins more races than Oscar?
I do.
By orders or by
By orders, because I am
I know, I'm just trying to
In
I'm
the
trying to really
streets
rile you
for
up.
Oscar, but I do think that they're going to be like, we made a mistake last year. We got to make it up to this kid this year, and Lando, you'll be the boy.
Are
Now,
you becoming
will
a Lando apologist?
Fuck no! I'm just a realist, okay? I'd be real interested in watching that kid make his own mistakes, because he does. He's a mistake maker. And that's the thing that I don't think he has thought of. World champions do not make this amount of mistakes. They do
But I think
not.
maybe that's what last year was. Like maybe last year was his opportunity to make those mistakes, learn from those mistakes, and hopefully not make those mistakes again.
That is great, but hope is not a strategy. So we cannot hope.
No, I'm not. But that's me speaking. I'm
Yes.
thinking that maybe that's what last year was. It was that learning.
Yes, I hope so. I do. I'm with you on that. I do hope that he learned his lesson from last year. I just do not know that as a driver, he makes more mistakes than people at his level. And when you're looking at the differentiators, like Max doesn't make mistakes.
Max doesn't make mistakes, but that's why Max is Max.
Exactly. And Oscar,
And the mistakes he does make are so like they are so minimal that they do not affect
yes,
his outcomes.
I mean, with the exception of that one time he hit that cone, and we're like,
Yeah.
He's like, I hit a cone. And you're like, yeah, we saw. Thanks, Max. We saw that. Like,
Yeah.
But I think like when you look at Oscar, like he is a cleaner driver. He doesn't make many mistakes. Not that he doesn't make them. He just doesn't make
Again,
them
they're
at
more
the same
minimal.
rate.
Yeah.
And they're
Or at
not
the
as
right
catastrophic as you know. And you
at
even look
critical
at
times.
George Russell. Like he is making mistakes all over the place. I mean, he gets lucky, and I will say that for George. George gets lucky probably more so than most of the other
I think
drivers.
Lando has gotten kind of lucky too.
He's
also been quite
lucky.
unlucky
Yes.
though too. So he's had both sides of the coin. But so is George. So I mean,
yeah, I just
who do you think crashes first? First big crash, not just like a in the wall, like not like a spin or in the gravel or like who's
a crunchy crash
Yeah,
where we got to
like
get the crane to come out.
just like where we're the first red flag moment.
Okay.
Not yellow, red.
Red. I think it's going to be a rookie.
Yeah.
And because I don't know him, I think it's that Gabrielle kid from Kick Sauber.
Okay.
Sorry. Steak.
Whatever.
I don't know. The Sharpie.
They all have.
I don't know. So many names. I don't know.
So many names. What does Steak do? I should look that
up. They're like a video
they're
company.
That's what I thought because
Like,
they're always on like viral videos.
And I think online betting. I think is
It must be okay.
Yeah,
right.
something like that.
Mostly like European, I'm certain, but okay.
I think it's going to be one of them.
Who
do you think? What do you think?
I would agree. Like, I think it's going to be a rookie. I think it could honestly be. I mean, I don't want this for them, but I think it could. I'm seeing a vision if it could be Jack Doohan. Maybe trying to do too much in a car that's quite. I think the Alpine will be quite good. I think it will be a good car, and that maybe he will be emboldened, possibly too bold, to make a move in the car and have an accident. And that's where I think I just think it could be a rookie that's in a car that maybe a little too that they're maybe like a little too powerful for them, like not one of the necessarily less strong car, like one of the lower teams. I think that Alpine may be putting him behind the wheel of something that he's maybe not ready for, and that's not necessarily or that he's ready for, but that he makes a mistake because he's trying to do big things.
Yes. I agree with you on that. I also think that could also very well be Ocon as a veteran driver that makes a mistake in a car that he's not used to. Which leads me to a thought. This whole preseason, you get 2 weeks to test your car, seems to be an outdated system we need to revamp. Because you're spending all this money to make the car. You're spending all this money on these drivers, but we're only going to give you 2 weeks to test it out. That seems like that we need more time. Like this is.
But I also think that puts a lot of stress on the car if you test it for too long.
That I understand, but don't you think you have more than 2 weeks versus of testing? And if I
think it should be 2 weeks and then a break, like where you have to work on it, and then maybe it's another week of testing, or maybe it's maybe it's still just 2 weeks, but you have 1 week, and then it's like it goes. You have to go like a Parc Fermé kind of type vibe of and then another week of testing.
I just think I don't know. I like that idea of breaking it up, but give them more time. I just think that with so much money on the line, 2 weeks is not enough time.
But also the off season is so short now.
Yes.
So
that's what I'm saying.
That's my other thing is you have to only give them 2 weeks, because if not, they would be working there. I feel like it's a unionized effort to give some of the mechanics some time off, because if not, what do they get 1 week off? I don't
But
know. I
we
just feel like we're trying to cram so much into a really short off season now. I mean, when was our last race was mid-December and here we are mid-March. So it's only 3 months off,
yeah.
which is fine if you're like playing basketball maybe or a sport where you don't have like a giant, huge piece of equipment that is key to your success. But I think that maybe that's why that there's the time
Well,
limit on that.
also maybe not have 24 races.
Yeah,
You know, like
I think the race calendar is a little too
it's
crowded.
too long, and I think the don't take away the time off, take away the races.
I think
And
the last race should be mid-November.
I agree. Like, give them the whole month of December off.
Move the Vegas race up a week, reconfigure things, and
Yeah.
like let's be done before, American Thanksgiving. But just like mid-November, I feel like gives you kind of to the end of the year to like reassess, take a deep breath, and then like January 1, you're grinding
Yeah.
for so I don't know.
Yeah.
They're not asking our opinions though
They're not,
about
but they
this.
should. We have ideas.
We do have ideas. Okay, so to wrap it up,
Okay.
love that we are back. I'm excited. I'm
Yes.
refreshed. I was kind of
Same.
dead at the end of last season. I was kind of,
Yeah.
let's be
I was
done.
ready.
Who are your predictions for this weekend's race?
Okay. I think we're going to get both Ferraris on the podium
Oh,
and Lando. No, Oscar, because it's his home race. So we're going to get
yeah.
Oscar and we're going to get two Ferraris.
No, you're
Not
red
two
now.
Mercedes. I'm
You're
red
red
now. What am I
now.
doing? What am I doing?
I am kind of on the flip of that.
Okay.
I'm on the other part of the like full house of that of cards. I think we get an Oscar win in his hometown. I don't necessarily, maybe not, but I think we have, and I don't necessarily know the order, but I think it's Lando, Oscar, Charles.
Okay. I
I
like
think
that.
it's those three. I think it's either Charles in second or third, and the
And McLaren's up
McLarens.
top. Okay.
hmm
I think it's
Now, who
gonna,
knows? They
yeah.
could crash out in the first 5 seconds, or this car may be, last year we thought we had big things for certain things, and the cars just were
Shit
not
the
the cars
bed.
we
I
thought they
know.
were. So this could be a totally like moot point, but
Could be. Oh my God. Do you
the
know what we
Mercedes
get?
car could be actually fantastic, and we don't even know.
And we're just over here clowning on him.
Clowning.
We're going to get Nicole Piastri.
I know. I was waiting for you to bring that up because she'll actually be there. And that's the only reason I'm giving Oscar the edge because it's his home race and he did have such a great end of the season. And,
Yeah.
and I'm not fully convinced that McLaren has figured out their personnel issues.
Probably
And
not. Yeah.
yeah, you cannot fully convince me that they've decided to make the right choices in terms of point strategy for looking at a full calendar year. So I'm
Yeah.
giving Oscar the win in my heart. Maybe it's not in my mind, but
Yeah. I agree with you. I don't think they've figured it out. I hope that they do. But I would love for Oscar to take it in his
I'm also
home
ready
country.
for Zach Brown to just like let the principal be the principal. Like let him be the boss. And Zach, could you just take a fucking beat and just take you and your grippers, take your dogs back to
Get
the
'em out.
pool and watch some of these races away and let like your team breathe without you like being the star of the
Suffocating them.
show.
Oh my God. You don't have to be the main character all the time.
No. We know you're the main character in your life and McLaren's life, but like just
Right. Just don't
take
do that.
take a beat. Take a beat.
Agreed.
So
Agreed. Oh, Danielle, it feels so good to be back.
it does feel good to be back.
I love it.
It does feel good to be back. I'm very excited for this season. I hope you all are very excited for this season. Please make sure you're following us on social on F1 Push Push because we're getting back into flowing things. And also Shannon's getting the fantasy league. She's getting the band back together.
The band's back together. Do you want to hear my name?
Oh yeah.
Black Pony Club.
Oh.
It's a good one, right?
That's a good one. That's a good one. That's a good one. Yeah, we're getting so make sure you go and sign up for the fantasy league. We will put the link in the show notes,
Mm-hmm.
and you can join. If you don't join by the first race, you're not
You're okay.
You're not out of the running. You can still
just join whenever you can. And if
you
you
can
have
still
any
join.
questions, send me a DM. I will hook you up. I'll answer your questions. We got it unlocked. We're good to go.
But yeah, we're getting back in. We've been a little, like we said, we shouldn't have left you, but we've got a new beat to step to. We're gonna be getting some content out on social.
Yes.
We're gonna like breathe life back into the F1 push push of it all. And so we're excited about the season. We hope you all are too. Please, if you have a friend that's watched Drive to Survive or is getting into F1, we would love it if you would share the podcast with them, share the love, share us with your friends, because, the more the merrier over here. It would it would make us happier than Zach Brown putting on some socks and shoes. And until next time, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe wherever you listen to podcasts. And until next time, push, push.